Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I'll be showing you how I made this fire poker just out of a bit of scrap wood and scrap metal. So I recently bought a chimney and this is what it came with, this poker, but I'm not too keen on it. It's a bit short and it's a bit ugly looking. The handle is just a bent over piece of metal. So I want to make my own. I happen to have this piece of, I think it's around 6mm in diameter steel rod. So this poker I can make it a little bit longer, and I'm going to add a handle to it made out of hardwood. This is an old broom handle. I don't know what type of hardwood it is, but it's quite dense, so that's going to be the handle. So to start off with, let's measure the rod. The rod is about 48 centimeters. So I want to add a bend on. The bend at the end on the original one is 35mm. I'm going to make mine a little bit longer, so I'm thinking something more like 45mm, let's say. And then for the length, I want to increase the length a little bit, so I'm going to make it about 34 centimeters. So that's where the handle will stop. And then for the handle, it needs to be around here somewhere. So the handle is about 15 centimeters or so. So for the final measurements, the handle will measure around 18 centimeters. I've decided to increase it a little bit. The area of the metal that's going to go into the handle is about 9 centimeters, and then the length of this poker is going to be about 34 centimeters with about a 4.5 centimeter bend at the end. So to start off with, I wanted to clean up this piece of metal, and for that I'm using the bench grinder, and I've got it on the wire wheel, and it came up nice and shiny. Now onto the handle, I cut it to length on the miter saw. And then to remove the finish on it, I used a knife, scraping it off, and then I finished it off with some 80 grit sandpaper. This device is a circle center finder, and I used it to get a center point marked out on the top and bottom of the handle. On the one end it's for the metal rod to go into, and the other end is for a ring that I'm going to be adding. And just before I add the rod, I want to check what diameter drill bit is required, and 6mm was a nice snug tight fit. So now onto the drill press. I'm drilling a 6mm diameter clearance hole down about 7 or 8 centimeters, nice and deep, so that I can get a lot of that metal into the handle. And I also drilled out a pilot hole to add the ring later on. So now onto the rod, bending the end of it. I decided to use this little chef's blowtorch to heat the metal up. I was impatient, I couldn't be bothered to wait until it went red hot. So I started to bend it, and luckily that worked okay. It was just a bit more difficult. Now I'm marking out some areas around the edge where I want to remove some material on the disc sander, just to round off those edges and make the handle look a bit more finished. And then I gave the handle a final sanding. Here's the ring that I was talking about earlier. I'm going to add this now. Before I add it, I just added a little bit of oil to make it easier to screw into the handle, because it's a nice snug tight fit. And then for the finish on the handle, I've got some boiled linseed oil. Now to add the handle onto the metal, I'm using some super glue, getting it all over the metal and all down into that hole, and then I could just push it on and twist it as I go to make sure there's plenty of glue getting all the way around that metal. Now I wanted to add a layer of lacquer. I went with 3 coats in the end just to make it harder wearing. And that was how it came out. As you can see, it's next to the original one. It's longer, quite a bit longer. Okay, so that's about it then for this project. I think it turned out really good in the end. I think it's better than the original one. It's longer, it looks better, the handle works well, feels good, and with a few coats of lacquer on it, it should last a long time. It's got that convenient ring to hang it, and it's a good use of a little scrap bit of steel. I can't remember where I got it from, but now it's gone to good use. So there you have it. If you did find this video useful, please remember to like and also consider subscribing for more DIY related videos. And as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.